Good evening. This is All India Radio and I am Nishit Kumar with the news at 9. The headlines. Supreme Court upholds 10% reservation for economically weaker sections in public education and employment. Finance Ministry releases revenue deficit grant of over 7,000 crore rupees to 14 states. Trade, investment, transport and a range of issues on the agenda as External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar begins Russia visit. Power Ministry revises guidelines to simplify use of charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to unveil the logo, theme and website of India's G20 presidency through video conferencing tomorrow. And registration for Agniveer Vayu opens for the Indian Air Force aspirants. A 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court today upheld the 10% reservation for economically weaker sections in admissions to educational institutions and appointment in government jobs. The constitutional validity of the 103rd Amendment of the Constitution was upheld with a majority judgment. 3 judges of the 5-judge bench upheld the act while 2 judges dissented. Justice Trivedi ruled that EWS quota is not discriminatory. Justice Maheshwari said that EWS quota does not violate the basic structure or equality code.
The 103rd Constitution Amendment cannot be said to breach the basic structure of the Constitution by permitting the state to make special provisions, including reservation, based on economic criteria. 2. Amendment cannot breach the basic structure of the Constitution by permitting the state to make special provisions in relation to the admission to private unaided institutions. 3. Amendment cannot breach the basic structure of the Constitution in excluding the SEBCs, OBCs, SCs, STs from the scope of EWS reservation.
The 103rd Constitutional Amendment was cleared by Parliament in January 2019 and was almost immediately challenged in the Supreme Court. The case was first presented before 3 judges who referred it to a larger 5-judge bench in 2019. The verdict follows a marathon 6.5-day hearing of the case held in September, wherein the Apex Court had reserved its verdict. The National Cancer Awareness Day is being observed today. This day promotes awareness about the diagnosis, treatment and early detection of the disease. According to the World Health Organization, cancer is one of the leading causes of death worldwide. In India, nearly 1.1 million new cases of cancer are reported annually. Speaking to AIR News, Dr. Rakesh Garg at AIIMS New Delhi outlined the precautions that could prevent cancer.
Today is a very special day. We need to know about cancer because cancer to a certain extent is preventable. And if we take certain precautions which can prevent the cancers to happening to us will be a great initiative from us. There are certain things like tobacco, like taking less exercise, taking junk food, and certain activities like less physical activity, the obesity. All those things are known to have increased incidence of cancers and they are all preventable.
President Draupadi Murmu today presented the National Florence Nightingale Awards for the year 2021 to nursing professionals at Rashtrapati Bhavan. The awards are given to recognize meritorious service rendered by the nurses and nursing professionals to the society. It was instituted in 1973 by the Union Health and Family Welfare Ministry. The Army Commanders Conference began in New Delhi today. The 5-day conference is a formal forum for the senior leadership of the Indian Army to interact with the senior officials of the Department of Military Affairs and Department of Defense. Talks by eminent subject experts on contemporary India-China relations as well as technological challenges for national security are also scheduled. Besides framework for enhanced operational effectiveness, promoting Atmanirbharta or self-reliance in defense and future challenges to progressive military training will also be part of the deliberations. The Gujarat High Court took suo motu cognizance of the Morbi Bridge collapse tragedy today. A division bench of the Gujarat High Court, headed by Chief Justice Arvind Kumar, has sought a status report from the government within a week regarding the action taken so far in the wake of the incident. The court has also asked the State Human Rights Commission to submit a separate report. The matter is now listed on the 14th of November. More than 130 people lost their lives after the collapse of a suspension bridge over the Machu River in Morbi on the 30th of October. The Finance Ministry has released a grant of over 7,183 crore rupees to 14 states. The states include Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Kerala, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Punjab, Rajasthan, Sikkim, Uttarakhand and West Bengal. The grant is a part of the 8th monthly installment of post-devolution revenue deficit. The grants are provided to states under Article 275 of the Constitution to meet the revenue gaps after devolution by the Finance Commission. The Commission has recommended a total post-devolution revenue deficit grant of 86,201 crore rupees to 14 states for the financial year 2022-23. With the release of 8th installment for November this year, the total amount released to the states has gone up to 57,467 crore rupees. The Ministry of Power issued amendment in the revised consolidated guidelines and standards for charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. Power Ministry said a committee under Central Electricity Authority will recommend to the state governments the ceiling limit of service charge to be levied. The committee will also recommend time of the day rate for service charges as well as the discount to be given for charging during solar hours. Anti-smog guns will be deployed in all construction and demolition activity sites in the National Capital Region. The State Pollution Control Boards of the NCR and Delhi Pollution Control Committee have been directed to ensure continuous and effective use of the anti-smog guns installed at different sites. As per the direction, at least one smog gun for a total construction area between 5,000 to 10,000 square meter must be installed at construction and demolition activities site. Dust from the construction and demolition activities sites is a major and consistent source of air pollution. It contributes adversely to the spike of PM 2.5 and PM 10 levels in the NCR. Online registration for the induction of Indian candidates as Agniveer Vayu has begun. The process began this evening. The Indian Air Force, in its advertisement, stated that the online registration will be open for applicants till 5 p.m. of the 23rd of this month. The online exam will be conducted from the 18th to the 24th January 2023. The Agnipath scheme was approved by the government a few months back for recruitment of youth in the armed forces for 4 years. Those between the age group of 17 to 23 years are eligible for recruitment and 25% of them will be granted permanent service. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today participated in a function on the eve of Guru Nanak Jayanti in New Delhi. On the 553rd birth anniversary celebrations of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the Prime Minister has offered prayers. The celebration took place at the residence of Chairperson with the National Commission for Minorities Iqbal Singh Lalpura. On the occasion, he said the country is moving ahead with the spirit of welfare of 130 crore Indians inspired by Guru Nanak Dev Ji's teachings.
हर प्रकाश पर्व का प्रकाश देश के लिए प्रेरणा पुंज का काम कर रहा है। ये मेरा सौभाग्य है कि मुझे लगातार इन अलौकिक आयोजनों का हिस्सा बनने का, सेवा में सहभागी होने का अवसर मिलता रहा है। गुरु ग्रंथ साहब को शीश नवाने का ये सुख मिलता रहे, गुरुबानी का अमृत कानों में पड़ता रहे और लंगर के प्रसाद का आनंद आता रहे। इससे जीवन के संतोष की अनुभूति भी मिलती रहती है और देश के लिए, समाज के लिए समर्पित भाव से निरंतर काम करने की ऊर्जा भी अक्षय बनी रहती है।
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. In our bilingual live phone-in program Public Speak at 9:30 tonight, we'll bring you a discussion on the National Cancer Awareness Day with Dr. Rakesh Garg, Additional Professor of Anesthesiology, Critical Care, Pain and Palliative Medicine at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on issues related to cancer, its causes, prevention and treatment from 9:30 p.m. onwards on telephone numbers 011-2371-7106 and 011-233-14444. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. With 3 days left for the 14th Assembly elections to be held in Himachal Pradesh, the campaign has reached its peak. Candidates, including star campaigners of all parties, have given their full strength in the election campaign. Our correspondent reports the candidates are also campaigning from door to door to woo the voters.
Congress National General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi addressed a Parivatan Pratigya rally in favor of the Congress candidate at Haroli in Una district today. Priyanka Gandhi said that during the tenure of BJP at the centre, inflation and unemployment have made the condition of the common man miserable, while GST has been implemented on agriculture products as well. She said if a government cannot support the poor and weaker section, then it has no right to remain in power. On the other hand, BJP National President JP Nadda today addressed public meetings in Dattanagar, Kodkai and Rodu of Rampur in Shimla district. He said development can take place in Himachal only when BJP comes to power. The nature of Congress is to create hurdles in development. He said that the UPA government of Congress had withdrawn the special status and industrial package from Himachal, which shows the dual attitude of Congress. Sanjeev Sundaryal, AIR News, Shimla.
The Election Commission of India will participate in specific events at Pune, Maharashtra to highlight the importance of the special summary revision exercise. Noticing high urban apathy in Pune, the Commission has decided to create targeted awareness among voters, emphasize inclusivity in enrollment by engaging with marginalized sections of society and interacting with voters. On Wednesday, the Commission would flag off a cycle rally at 7 a.m. from Balewadi Stadium, Pune. An exhibition on voter awareness messages would be inaugurated at Savitribai Phule University at 11 a.m. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has reached Moscow on his two-day official visit to Russia. He will hold talks with his Russian counterpart, Russian Sergei Lavrov, in Moscow tomorrow. The two leaders will discuss the entire range of bilateral and regional and international issues. The talks will focus on trade, investments, transport, mutual recognition of currencies in energy sector projects. Dr. Jaishankar will also meet Deputy Prime Minister of the Russian Federation and the Minister of Trade and Industry, Denis Manturov. Discussions on current international issues will be focused on the United Nations, Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the G20. According to the Russian Foreign Ministry's statement, the ministers will also discuss a host of regional issues, including the formation of a security architecture in the Asia-Pacific region, Iran, Afghanistan, Syria and Ukraine. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will unveil the logo, theme and the website of India's G20 presidency through video conferencing tomorrow. The logo, theme and website will reflect India's message and priorities to the world. India will assume G20 presidency from the 1st of December. The platform offers a unique opportunity for India to contribute to the global agenda on pressing issues of international importance. G20 is the premier forum for international economic cooperation. During its presidency, India will be holding about 200 meetings in 32 different sectors in multiple locations across India. The G20 summit, to be held next year, will be one of the highest profile international gatherings to be hosted by India. Indian Embassy in Beijing today issued an advisory reminding prospective Indian students seeking admission into undergraduate clinical medicine programs in China about the requirement to obtain a license to practice medicine in China before they can practice medicine in India. In an advisory issued today, the embassy requested the students and their parents to see the Gazette notification dated November 18, 2021 by the National Medical Commission NMC, which clearly states this requirement. Any student who joins for a clinical medicine program in China after November 2021 and fails to obtain license to practice as a medical doctor in China will be ineligible to appear for the foreign medical graduate examination mandatory for clinical medical practice in India. 15 films will compete for the coveted Golden Peacock at the 53rd edition of the International Film Festival of India, IFFI, in Goa. The IFFI will be held from the 20th to the 28th of this month. The lineup comprises 12 international and 3 Indian films that represent the emerging trends in the aesthetics and politics of the art. The jury this year comprises Israeli writer and film director Nadav Lapid, American producer Jinko Goto, French film editor Pascal Chavanche, French documentary filmmaker and film critic journalist Xavier Angulo Baturan, and director Sudipto Sen. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Supreme Court upholds 10% reservation for economically weaker sections in public education and employment. Finance Ministry releases revenue deficit grant of over 7,000 crore rupees to 14 states. Trade, investment, transport and a range of issues on the agenda as External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar begins Russia visit. Power Ministry revises guidelines to simplify use of charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to unveil the logo, theme and website of India's G20 presidency through video conferencing tomorrow. And registration for Agniveer Vayu opens for the Indian Air Force aspirants. And that is all in the news at 9. Good night.